The pyramids, black holes, Toshi's brain. Those are some of the biggest mysteries in the world. But the greatest mystery might just be Dragon Ball Legends' lifespan. With the amount of ridiculously broken releases this game had, I genuinely have no idea how it's still up and running. And with how bad the state of the game is right now, people are seriously wondering if it's going to shut down soon. Well, surprise or not, this isn't the first time in Legends history that people had been wondering the exact same thing. So in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the most broken releases this game has ever seen. And let's start with the very first broken release in Legends history. Blue Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, the card we had all been waiting for ever since we saw it in the tutorial mode. And you can guess that he was a complete monster. That guy was by far and away the best unit in the game. He gapped everything and was Legends' first meta shifter. He had one of the highest base ki restore speed in the game, did more damage against Goku's enemies, and reduced the ki recovery of enemies once he entered the battlefield, which coupled with the fact that his special move had a 30% chance of fighting the enemy, while also reducing the enemy's strike defense, was just insane. But what really made him stand out was his green card. He could force switch characters, which was just so broken at the time. Like, that guy's only counter was Green Piccolo, but with that green card, he could just get him out of the battlefield and kill the rest of the team. I know that compared to the crazy units Legends releases nowadays, this guy probably looks like complete garbage, but bro, trust me, like, the game was just different back then. So on release, that guy was just so cracked. He completely dominated the game for like 2 or 3 months. Green Bardock was phenomenal on release. His first unique ability gave him additional strike damage for each killed enemy and more strike damage if 2 of your allies were dead. And his Z ability gave strike attack to units of the same tag. So this was already very good. Like a strike unit that actually has multiple strike damage buffs. Trust, at the time this was just insane. Like, I know nowadays every melee type unit has strike damage, but back then this was some top tier design. Then his second unique ability gave him additional ki recovery when you had another same tag unit on your team, which was the strongest tag at the time. His green card then gave him 50 ki and cleansed him out of all of his debuffs. Like, you have no idea how strong this was at the time, especially on an offensive unit. But what really made him absolutely cracked was his main ability. It basically stopped the enemy from switching for 10 timer counts and gave him even more strike damage. So you could generally just lock up your enemy and they were pretty much dead. There was really nothing they could do. Like, this was just so broken. Especially since Legends was starting to slowly introduce cover changes abilities, so being able to lock an enemy and stop them from cover changing was just so valuable. Purple Broly. That guy was just disgusting, bro. Like, disgusting. For some reason, his kit was just so overloaded. Like, he just had so much going on. He had the strongest base stats in the game, by far. Blast armor on his strike cards, something that was actually completely cracked, as at the time, you could recover vanish from blast armor, as it counted as you getting hit or damaged. Like, just let that sink in for a moment. So you could essentially have like unlimited vanish with him. Then he had a green card that not only reduced the enemy's ki, but also forced switched him. His blue cards also couldn't be stopped by most other blue cards in the game, while also destroying the enemy's cards. He then had 2 main abilities, as he was a transforming unit, and the first one healed him, which was actually so crazy as this guy was just so tanky due to his high stats. He also had card draw speed and type nullification. Like, like, bro, this was just like so crazy. Then his second main ability also gave him an Ultimate's Arts card. Still the only transforming card in the game that has an Ultimate's Arts card. Like, bro, Super Sentry Goku and Super Gogeta, 2 cards who released a month or 2 before him that were seen at the time as the best cards in the game, were literally nothing compared to him. Like, they just had damage and ki recovery. I guess Gogeta also had like a counter, but that was it. Like, their kits weren't that overloaded. So I just don't know what happened to that guy. Like, this honestly might just be the strongest release in Legends history. I feel like this guy just wasn't supposed to release that early. Like, he was clearly way ahead of his time. Like, this guy was just so dominant that they literally had to remove the ability for units to recover vanish from blast armor. Like, this guy was just a complete monster. I don't know what else to say. LF Super Saiyan Namek Goku. I have PTSD just thinking about that card. This was actually the first release that made me take a break from that game. I still have no idea what the hell did they smoke when they designed that guy. Like, bro, his blue card transformed, was one of the most disgusting things I had ever seen. It countered anything in the game that wasn't a tackle or tap attack, and I don't even remember if tackles were a thing at the time. So players would literally just float around until you used an arts card and just counter you with his blue card, and it just did so much damage. Like, it was just so ridiculous. And just so you know, back then there was no penalty on your vanishing gauge for black floating, so you could float infinitely with him. They literally just added black floating penalty because of that guy. Like, that guy was just so annoying, so annoying. Facing him just wasn't fun. Yellow transforming Gohan. This guy came shortly after Namek Goku and after they nerfed back floating, so him and Bojack completely took over PvP. Gohan was disgusting, and Bojack had literally the best cover change in the game. But Gohan was really the problem here. He had the highest strike stat in the game, so his damage was insane. Then, once transformed, he locked you for 10 timer counts, but only needed 5 timer counts to use his main ability transformed. A main ability that not only gave him 50 ki, but also reduced the enemy's ki by 50. And he also had an AoE green card that you could combo into. So that guy could literally just vanish, transform, use his green card, and then kill you. Like, there was no counterplay. Once you were locked with him, you were just dead. Like, this guy was literally green Bardock, but on crack. Zenkai LF Beerus. What can I say? This guy was one of the first units ever to have a Zenkai awakening, and the Zenkai system at that time was one of the most pay-to-win thing ever, so you can guess that they made him completely cracked, so that people would summon for his Zenkai Z powers, because yes, back then you had to summon for Zenkai units. Like bro, this guy was so bad on release, that he not only had his unique equip, but his awakened unique equip. So with his Zenkai awakening and additional Zenkai stats, the guy had the highest stats in the game, and it wasn't even close. Then not only could he seal enemies' main abilities, but also one of their card slot, while also debuffing them and having a green card that literally cancelled all of their buffs. So once you got caught by that combo, you were pretty much forced to switch, as there was literally nothing you could do. Like bro, his ultimate arts card destroyed all of your cards if you somehow survived that, but you practically never did. Like purple Super Saiyan 4 Goku, arguably the strongest purple unit at the time of his release, couldn't even hold his own defensively against that Beerus type advantage. Like his stats were just so damn high. Thankfully the Zenkai system was so pay to win that you practically like never saw him. At least from what I remember, I maybe fought that guy like once or twice at a time, but every time I did, it wasn't a fun experience. LF Vegito Blue. That guy was just so cracked that not only did you need him for PvP, you had to be the first guy to combo, or else you were just cooked. He had a unique ability, giving him ki every time he used a strike card, and an additional strike card the first 2 times he used a strike card. An ability that resetted every time he switched in, by the way. Like, you have no idea how cracked that was at the time. Most units didn't have cover changes, and even those who did, they couldn't cover change infinitely. Like, you could only cover change once per combo, but Vegito Blue could draw 2 strike cards the whole game, as long as he switched him. Like, this was already insane in itself, but then he just had the highest power level in the game. I think his stats were even higher than Zenkai 7 units, who had the highest stats in the game at the time. Like his stats were so high that he could compete with 14 stars units at 2 stars. Like it was just so insane. Then the guy even had a cover change of his own, and the same green card as Zenkai 7 Beerus, which was at the time seen as one of the best green cards in the game. Like cancelling the enemy's buffs was just so ridiculous. The guy also nullified enemies' cover changes on his ultimate's arts card. Like bro, the guy was just so obnoxious that they literally had to change how cover changes worked. Like being able to cover change once per combo wasn't enough because that guy could just combo for so long. But I'm pretty sure that because of him they also changed the rates of the Dragon Balls, because that guy would just literally farm rising rushes. Like he would just get them too quickly. Because he just had too many cards. Like it was just so crazy. LF Red Zenkai Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. That guy was pretty decent on release, and probably the best unit in the game on release, but not then compared to how cracked he was once he got his Zenkai awakening. His kit wasn't anything insane for the time, and LF Vegito Blue was still one of the best units in the game, so Gohan being a red unit was already off to a bad start. But thanks to his type disadvantage nullification and absolutely ridiculous stats for the time, it just didn't matter. That guy completely took over PvP. Like he literally had the highest last attack stat in the game, and all of his other stats were some of the highest in the game. Then combined with all of the different damage buffs he gained in his kit, yeah, the guy just stomped everything. The meta was literally just to have your units die, then one-shot everyone with Gohan. His blue cards were literal nukes, one-hit KOs, and his blast cards were also doing just so much damage. If Gohan was the last standing unit, he could literally kill units type disadvantage with 2 blast cards. Like his damage was just so ridiculous. Like I have no idea what Toshi was smoking at the time. Like, this was just so crazy. I would also like to add Zenkai Android 18 as an honorable mention. She came literally a week after the Zenkai of LF Gohan, and with how fast the meta was changing, everyone was expecting a Zenkai for a blue unit to counter LF Gohan, but they gave us the Zenkai of a yellow unit. So we were expecting her to literally be dead on arrival because of how dominant LF Gohan was at the time. But when did she prove us wrong? That girl was just insane. She did so much damage, especially against Saiyan tag units. Like, bro, her kit was filled with card draw abilities, key recovery and damage. So much damage. She could literally 2-tap any non-Zenkai and non-red unit, like LF Vegito Blue, who was literally the uncontested best unit in the game 3 months prior. The only reason I'm putting her as an honorable mention is because LF Gohan was her biggest counter, and the guy was literally the meta at the time. Like, if she had dropped before him, she would have completely taken over PvP. Ultras for Gogeta. Well, he was the first summonable Ultra, so you can guess that this guy was just a complete monster. The first summonable LR in Dokkan was LR% to Gohan, and the guy was on a level of crack that I just can't even begin to describe. And we know how much Legends loves to copy Dokkan, but I think they somehow forgot how Legends is a PvP game. Like, releasing broken units like that just isn't healthy for the game. I remember shortly coming back to the game before his release, having some fun with Zenkai Super Vegito, and then just not being able to pull that new Super Gogeta, meaning not being able to do like anything in PvP, and just dropping the game essentially for good. Gogeta, like almost every broken releases in Legends history, had the highest power level on release, meaning the highest stat spread. Like, this guy's stats were just so stupid, then combined with his unique abilities, he was just so tanky, while also doing just stupid damage. And the problem was that green units were pretty much non-existent. Like, I don't know if it was because of how dominant purple units were at the time, or just because the game didn't have good green units. Like, I'm pretty sure the best meta-relevant green card at the time was LF's percent for Gogeta, who honestly, from what I remember, wasn't even that good. Like, he had utility and was valuable because of the meta at the time, but he did no damage to Gogeta. Maybe it was because I had him at 2 stars, possible, but still. Once one of Gogeta's allies was dead, Super Gogeta could just swap into percent for Gogeta, nullify his type advantage, stop him from switching, and just nuke him with one of his ultimate's arts card. Because, yeah, that guy was, as far as I remember, the first unit in the game to be able to draw 2 ultimate's arts cards. It was just so crazy. And his green card not only cleansed him, but nullified enemies' cover change abilities. Another nail in the coffin for Gogeta, who was mainly valued for his double cover change ability. Like, I honestly have no idea how people kept up with the game after this guy's release, especially with how bad summonable ultras rates were, which was obviously why that guy was so good. Like, well, that guy was just crazy. The LF tag androids. I had already left the game thanks to Ultras for Gogeta, and to the surprise of no one, the game didn't get any better, as this card pretty much stumped not only Super Gogeta, but the other summonable Ultra that came after him. Like, bro, just saying it out loud is this is just crazy. Like, bro, they literally just didn't care. Like, the androids had some of the highest defensive stats in the game, like almost Zenkai level of stats. Then they had endurance and cover change nullification, could draw just so many cards. 18's green card literally reduced your vanishing gauge to 0 and was like impossible to dodge, and they covered 2 types, so they essentially had no weakness. They were so good that they were still top tier even after the 4th year anniversary. As a matter of fact, they were even seen as better than the anniversary headliners. Like, think about it. They dropped MUI Goku, mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, and the androids were still better than him. Like, that's just how dominant they were. LF Beast Gohan. I wasn't playing the game when this guy first dropped, but I heard that this guy was just so insane that almost every unit before him became obsolete overnight. From my understanding, this guy's kit was just so overloaded. Like, he had practically everything in the game. He could cover change and to strike and blast attacks, had type neutrality, could destroy your hand, nullified almost everything in the game, literally couldn't even die from a rising rush, and his damage was just through the moon. Like, he could one-shot a unit with just a blue card, and the fact that he came with Pan just made everything like 10 times worse, as she was one of the strongest support type units this game had ever seen. She gave damage to the whole team, not only on her unique ability, but with each strike and blast card she used, and for some reason she just had so many sub-count reduction in her kit, meaning that you could swap between her and Gohan pretty often. And since Gohan was a double cover changer, while also being an absolute beast, Yeah, it was just such a nasty combo, like it was just disgusting. Ultra Gogeta Blue. They dropped that guy shortly after Beast Gohan, and he was just ridiculous. Just like Beast Gohan, he could cover change against blast and strike cards, had endurance and cover change nullifications, did a disgusting amount of damage, but from my understanding, what really made that guy absolutely cracked was his auto counter, as this guy had zero counterplay at a time. Once his Goj was full, he just stopped your combo, literally, and you could even combo it into a blue card, which was just ridiculous. Like, this was just disgusting, as his blue cards were literal nukes that just did so much damage. I wasn't playing the game at the time, but I can only imagine how ridiculously annoying this was. I even heard that him and Beast were so good that you could not only run both of them in the same team, but they also could still be run in PvP almost 2 years after their initial release. How could a card be that broken that it survives Legends power creep? Like, think about it. We all know how power creep is insane in this game. Like, I literally just can't even begin to imagine how ridiculously broken a card has to be to not age in this game. The cards had to be something that I just can't even begin to describe with words. This is it for today. This game had just so many ridiculous releases and will keep having ridiculous releases until its very last day. So I'm sure that there's plenty of crazy characters that I haven't mentioned. Like, bro, like I said, I completely dropped the game after Ultra Super Gogeta, then barely kept up with it that year, so I didn't experience most summonable Ultras releases. But every single time a new Ultra dropped, it just looked like they were the best units in the game. So I think almost every summonable Ultras could have been featured in this video. And I'm sure all of the Ultra Gogetas and Vegitos were cracked beyond belief. Like, for sure. And I heard that Ultra Majin Vegeta was like one of the most toxic units of all time. But I just didn't want to speak about any of the recent releases, as I haven't touched that game since 2022. I shortly came back during the 7th year anniversary, but bro, I didn't touch PvP, like, like hell nah, bro, I'm just not touching PvP. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, peace.